Hello and welcome to the Cutie Art Crusaders, episode 60 for August 27th, 2013. Summer is almost over for most of us, and I'm going back to school and none of the rest of you are, so my life sucks. My name is also Rainbow Plasma. I'm the organizer of this podcast, and today I'm joined by...
Burn1. I am the special guest coordinator for the podcast, and also going to be the editor this week.
I'm Flutterguy317, and I'm the media manager for the podcast.
And I'm Atmospark. I do the questions, and I also monitor and update the DeviantArt page occasionally.
You better.
So yeah.
Yay.
Getting to the end of summer, guys, and we're getting back into our regular routine.
It's not for Atmospark. He's about to get into summer. Yeah.
That's true. I mean, you're about to get into spring, aren't you?
Spring, yes.
His name's Pinky Dash.
Yeah, spring. No, shut up.
Wait, who? Pinky who?
Pinky who?
So yeah. I mean, I'm going back to school. Bernd, you're kind of going back to school. Are you taking a full course load, or are you
Coolidge. I'm gonna try. I don't know. Okay. We'll see.
Well then, sounds eventful.
It's either that or work. You know, I don't. It's a toss up. Make money, you don't.
Yeah, one of them makes money and the other one doesn't. So
yeah, one of them spends money.
Yeah.
Student loans.
Great. Yeah, don't remind me. Thanks. So welcome back to the podcast, guys. We've got a great show for you guys today. I'm not sure, Bernd, I didn't watch last week. At the end of the episode, what did you put on screen for, like, our next episode's theme?
Bucks.
Bucks.
Well, we weren't certain if we would have a special guest because it was still up in the air if we would be able to get a super special guest and like schedule something. So our theme for last week was books. But we're not going to do books.
Oh, okay. So you did put the theme up, but yeah.
Yes.
If we'll put the theme up for next week, but if we get a special guest in the meantime, then we kind of delay the episode by a week. So we did happen to get a special guest and delay that episode by a week.
Hooray.
Right, Bernd?
Yes, correct.
Yay.
So this week on the podcast, we have with us Nanook123, or Trish. So thank you for coming on the show with us, Trish. It's awesome to have you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was awesome to be able to see you at BronyCon, because that's actually where we met, and we got to say hi and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, BronyCon. What crazy, crazy time that was.
Yeah, you're telling us.
And it was great to meet you guys there.
It was great of you to sketch on my little playmat. I don't know if you guys remember last week when I showed a little picture of that big playmat with all the artists, but Trish, you actually made a little sketch on it. You did Gary up there in the top.
Yep. Right up there in actually, like the upper third portion of it. I draw huge.
Which is good because it was an awesome sketch.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So, for those of us who weren't at BronyCon, sad face, we also knew of you a little bit because we had talked to your friend Spirito, who we've had on the podcast a couple times, and you were kind of involved in that project in a way that your OC, Gary, was in Children of the Night, which Spirito and Lionheart made. So we've known of you for a while. It's just these guys finally got to meet you at BronyCon.
Oh, yes. Well, that project, when she told me about it, I was really shocked that she even wanted to include me. But we know each other from, having common interest in, animation art and stuff like that. So it was really cool that she asked me to join in on that, and I actually got to have some input on not only Gary's design, but there's a little foal named Fly by Night. I got to design him, and you barely see him in the film because it moves so fast, but he's there, looking all cute, and the cloak that Gary wears in the beginning sequence, I got to design that too.
Cool.
That's cool.
But it was super cool that they invited me to join that, and man, every time they told me even just a little bit, or they showed me just a little bit, I just wanted to see the whole thing done, and I got to see it just as everyone else got to see it, so it wasn't like I got to see it ahead of time or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of our feeling too when we interviewed them for the first time, which was, over a year ago now. that was the same kind of feeling that we got, where they went a little bit more in depth into it. And the second that you hear that about that kind of project, it's just kind of like, whoa, you want to see it right then. But unfortunately, those things take time, right?
Oh my gosh, the amount of time they put into that, I can't even. It's just such a labor of love for them, I guess, or a nice end piece for their portfolio.
Mm-hmm. So but it must have been really cool to see your own little character play such a role in that. Not only during the actual music video, but your character did a little intro as well.
Well, it was really cool because I didn't really have a story for Gary. Initially when Gary came into the picture, it was just my furry little character, a little cougar character made as a pony. I did what everybody else does, and then I decided. Well, when Spirit asked me to join this project, I said, yeah, have fun with that. Let me know what you need from me. And she asked me if she could do certain things or if there could, if there were any limits. And I said, no, I have no story for her. So, we kind of set to making the story work and, figuring out how this would develop later. And I was supposed to draw a comic, and I got really lazy, But overall, I'm really happy with what she did and her idea of how she fit Gary into the story, and made me feel really included.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary definitely came out really cute.
Oh my gosh,
so adorable.
It was just like I wanted her to, I didn't want her to be extra special. She didn't have to be, shaped differently, or there didn't have to be any special eyes or anything like that. I just wanted her to be normal, she would fit right into the world. And at first, Spirit had some input on a few design elements that we changed on her, because I originally had her tail like it is on the actual character that has 2 stripes and, all that, and it didn't fit. Even with the little muzzle stripe that she has, it still fits because it could be actually a natural marking on any horse. Mm-hmm. So the tail didn't fit, so she made one that fit. And I kind of call it like a bobbed, like an Applejack tail. Mm-hmm. But, Applejack tail sounds the ponytail. But,
right.
She did a really good job on that. And so that design element stuck with me past, when it was introduced, it stuck with me. So I just gotta keep it now.
Right, so it's now become kind of part of your character.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's really cool to see, and it was really awesome for her to do that, because, and I really love your character design too. It's very unique, and it kind of there's a lot of questionable OC designs out there, and it's nice to see one that's unique and yet not kind of
I like to take things from nature-ish. I mean, I guess I like muted colors. I mean, I like colors like pink and I like all the big colors, but I do like when I design a character, I try to think of where they would be in nature. So, it's got to be a realistic color. Plus, Gary's been kind of in my, Kugari, the character, has been with me since, I guess, the early 2000s, in the way, way back, because I used to be on the Lion King fan art archive. That's going way back. Mm-hmm, and that's where she came from initially. She started there and kind of morphed into what she is today, which is, for cartoon characters, I guess, zany TV watching, cookie eating cougar to just the fitting her into the pony world.
Mm-hmm.
So
she kept the cookies.
It's cool.
Good choice.
Yeah, she kept the cookies.
Well, Trish, we're an art podcast, as you probably know. Could you tell us a little more about your art background, a bit more about yourself, what you do, what you've gone through to get to where you are now?
Well, everything I was self-taught. I almost failed art in school because I don't like people telling me how to do stuff. So, a lot of it was my own discovery. I'm influenced by, obviously Disney, Warner Brothers, Don Bluth. Bluth is a huge influence. The beginning of Children of the Night, when she lights that candle, that's Bluth. that just,
cool.
screams out to me. I loved it so much. It was the greatest little nuance that she could have ever put in there. And, let's see, as far as like Disney, the early days of Disney when, everything looked rough and sort of, you could see the hand drawn, you could see the little nuances, the pen strokes in it. I just love that sort of thing. It makes it feel rich and deep.
Crafted.
Yeah. Not to take anything away from, CG stuff today or Flash or anything like that, because that stuff's a craft in itself, but it just isn't I'm not as passionate, I guess, about it as I am with hand-drawn stuff. And pencil tests and things like that. I just love to see things come together. So, yeah, Disney really influenced me. Warner Brothers, the range of expressions they would get. That's another thing that's really deep for me. I love to see an expression pushed. Yeah, you're happy, but are you ecstatic? Can you be ecstatic? Yeah, you're sad, but how sad? Are you just a little sad? Or is your world coming to an end? I like to push expressions and things like that.
Definitely really get that feeling from your work.
Yeah. I haven't really posted up too much new stuff. I've been posting up BronyCon stuff, but I have a lot of blue sketches that just kind of sit here and look at me and want me to upload them, and I think I'll get back into doing that. But yes, so yeah, that Warner Brothers, Don Bluth is another one. The style, the effects, the storytelling, the expression capturing. It's all so awesome. And it's stuff that I wish that I could get a better handle on and do myself. So I admire those people, and I try. But, so I've been in it a long time. Animation is just something I've always had a passion for. I can't actually do it myself. I've tried. It's like my brain can't understand timing or something.
Keyframes, how work?
Yeah, how do timing?
Yeah, animation and art itself are two things that seem very similar, but they actually have quite a difference to them, complexities to them, and just the different emotions, that you get the second that you introduce motion to something. So many different things you have to learn.
I like to think of it as art to a stopwatch or art to a beat, because everything's timing and then making that seem fluid in real life. It's like magic.
Yes. And
The Gathering?
No.
those that can create that sort of magic, they have the greatest admiration from me. Like Spirit and Lion, they forged ahead on that project and, just did things that I couldn't have dreamed of starting. I mean, I'm in Flash 101 right now, just learning, ooh, what is timeline? What do you do?
Yeah.
I'm trying to, and I would like to be at that level one day, but, I like to, I draw, and I like to draw as if that image could move, It looks like it's a mid-movement, or, there's something happening and I want to capture it a split second in frame. So
right.
that's
almost like a screenshot of an animation.
Yeah, that's how I think. That's how my brain works.
So you were mentioning that you're all self-taught. Is this just a large hobby for you, or does it work into something that you work towards, or what? How have you used art? Is it just a hobby, or?
Currently it's kind of it's a large hobby. I've done freelance projects as they come up, as I see time for them. There was a video game in England called Jungle Carts, and it was an indie project. The guy approached me, asked me to do some animal designs for him. That was the first freelance gig I ever had, seriously, character design work. And it took me about, 3 months to kind of work on that. And get that hashed out. But I was richer for that experience. I'd never done a freelance job before, so it was really interesting to, see how other companies want to direct you and get their ideas on how your work looks. Now, the end product doesn't doesn't reflect on what art was produced for it. I think it's actually in my DeviantArt, but the rendering in the final game wasn't exactly the best, I can say. It was a Nintendo Wii game meant for like 7-year-olds, so it wasn't going to be the greatest, best, fastest thing out there. But it was still a good experience, and I got a lot of good feedback, positive feedback, and things to work for. Other than that, I kind of take projects as they come. I like to give back to a lot of people, and a couple of charities I support. I do a lot of work for, dog rescues. I work with Malamute Matters over in, they're in the UK. I do some work for them. I've done work for the Maryland Special Olympics. I'll do a charity fundraiser once a year where I do $5 sketches. That's the best deal out there. But, I tend to do quite well at that.
Yeah, that's really
and
cool.
other than that, I like to, draw for my friends, draw for myself. I think it's a little more fulfilling that way.
So it's drawing for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good. And then drawing for BronyCon, of course, that project kind of, came pretty suddenly, and it worked out good for everybody in the end.
Yeah. For those that don't know, you did do a lot of work for BronyCon. A big chunk of the first page or two of your DeviantArt gallery is from art from the most recent BronyCon.
Yeah, and that's not even half of it.
So have you had many people coming up and calling you a con artist now?
You know how many times I said that during the actual convention? I'm like, I'm a con artist.
I said that to these guys before, and they groaned at me. So
I'm still groaning. Don't you worry.
You just go, oh gosh, this again.
Boy.
Yeah.
Puns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've done everything from. I mean, you've got posters in here. You've got the art for the swag bags and everything like that. What
T-shirts.
So you've done a lot of different things to do with this.
Oh yeah. I did the big 15-foot banners that were at the end of the aisles in the vendor hall.
That was cool, by the way. How was that seeing your art just huge?
That was fantastic, and I got to give credit to Ryan Goodman because he did the line art for it. I did the drawings because I kind of vultured his project, and I didn't mean to. It was an accident. But I let him, or he asked if he could do the lines, so I of course said yes, of course, do the lines. I'm working on about 16 other things, so that would help me greatly. And then I colored them, and working at that size nearly made my computer die, but
Vectors, man, vectors.
I'm actually very bad at vectors. Would you believe everything I did for the convention was all hand drawn? Everything, everything's worked real size. Like,
Oh yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
I can't work vectors. My hand gets a cramp on this mouse. It's terrible.
If you ever need some help, maybe a little tips, just hit me up.
For some reason, people who do great art can't seem to wrap their head around vectors. Whereas on the other hand, we all are used to, at the very least, do vectors. We're all knowledgeable about vectors, and none of us are particularly the best at traditional.
I am a great artiste, okay?
Except for Burned. Burned's just all around good.
Yeah.
I'm just genius. I'm sorry.
I couldn't help I just look at it and I'm like, how do this work?
Vectors, why?
Straight up, I can draw a straight line, in Photoshop, or actually I don't use Photoshop for inking, but I can make it work. I like varying line widths and thicknesses. I can't hang with vectors somehow. It just makes my brain crack.
Have magic hands. Line thickness. How do?
Yeah. How does this work?
But yeah,
So
those posters were really, really cool.
Yeah,
They were easily like the biggest ponies that I think I've ever seen.
Well, okay, let's see. I did those. Okay, there was T-shirts and stuff that were supposed to be sold.
Ooh, and a hoodie, right?
Yeah, and a hoodie, but those never made it. I don't know what happened.
oh.
I imagine they will be available on We Love Fine at some point. That's what I'm told. But I can't speak to that. So I did the staff shirts. Well, actually, I did the staff shirts, and then the designs got edited a little bit later to just make it the little patch on the front, and then the roundel on the back, which, that's fine. They all looked uniform and professional, but they all each individually had art created for them that wasn't used. Just the background element was, and that was interesting. I mean, I've never worked on a convention before, so I mean, I'm still relatively new to art direction and stuff like that. So, let's see, what else? The comic book cover, the back, the back cover. There were 2 insert pictures in there. One where they were with the mascots, and the mascots were with the Oriole bird, and another one that was just the 15-foot banners, but it was really little. And they didn't have the background elements, which was cool because I think it took made it look less cluttered. Let's see. Posters. The little pins, the lapel pins.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
And the buttons from the con store.
I really wish I could have gotten one.
The lapel pins?
Yeah.
Oh. I had to send somebody to get mine. I couldn't leave the vendor's hall. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But
it was
still, it was very nice. I mean, the whole experience, I'd do it again, and I am going to do it again. So,
Good to hear.
Yeah. Oh, the plush. The plush.
The plushies?
Oh, yes, the plushies.
Okay, so everybody knows Sophie Cabra, Spain, designed the characters for BronyCon last year. Or was it the year before? They had a contest, I remember. And then, this was right before I kind of got into everything. And then they wanted them made as plush toys. They thought they were, like, out of the realm. And I was like, that's not undoable. I can do that. I had Kugari made into a plush toy before. So it's an experience, but having that experience, I was able to, kind of put myself out there and be the liaison and work the design so that they could be plush toys. And then they were at the con and they did so fabulous, and that was awesome to see. I'm trying to think.
Plushies are always a huge hit in the fandom.
I'm trying to think of what else I may have done. But I think...
you did a bunch of the announcement banners, correct?
I did a bunch that weren't used, and I did a bunch that... I did 2 that were used, 3 that were used. There was a football one, and then two guests. And they weren't even the one... Like, I love those guests. They were fantastic, but I worked harder than I ever have before on the one for Kathleen Barr and the one for Ashley Ball. There are... I think 11 characters in the one for Kathleen Barr because of all the Trixies and the Changelings.
Oh, yeah.
And that to me was like the single most difficult piece that I had done, even though there were 16 characters in the big poster that was sold at the con store. I don't know why, but I like the bad guys in stories because without a good bad guy, you have no story. So I like to pay attention to them too. But that one was a good piece. I liked it, and it didn't get used.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, because you made a lot of these announcement pieces just on the basis of we're trying to get this guest, not necessarily that you had them, So you made a lot of these pieces, and then the guests said that they couldn't come for whatever reason, standard stuff, and then you couldn't use them, unfortunately.
So I didn't want to upload them, obviously, well before the con when we knew they weren't coming because I didn't want people to go, this person's not coming.
Confusion.
Yeah, cause confusion. I didn't want to do any of that. So, I waited on a lot of stuff, and what you see isn't even half the stuff I did. I mean, there's, so far unpublished t-shirt designs, unpublished, just various artwork they asked me to draw for other reasons. We had like little fun Twitter battles with Everfree Northwest with the baseball ponies. That was fun. I think Equestria LA, we had a sunglass battle, like whose mascots look better in sunglasses. And I kind of drew the mascots in sunglasses. That was kind of fun. I like the little impromptu things, like, spur of the moment stuff. If I got to think about a project too long, I tend to overthink it and make it too complicated.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you, the main shirt design, that thing took the longest, and it was the most simple thing at the end, and I'm like, huh. What? It's just amazing what, just clearing your head, go outside a minute, take a breath, clearing your head will do for a good idea.
Which shirt design is that?
The staff shirt, what it was, I think I posted it as a general staff shirt. If you look at the background elements alone, the sun and the moon and the cloud with the stars, that ended up being what it was at the end. Not with the characters, but I had everything from a stained glass window, like just preliminary stuff, just little sketches on pieces of paper, and I was like, these are too complicated. This isn't going to look good on a shirt. I have to do something. So we talked about it for a while, and then I went outside and I was angry for a minute at myself, and then, I came back and I put that down, and that was what stuck. So perseverance too. Keep trying.
So how long did you end up working on all this different stuff? Because you've got so many different pieces, and you've obviously worked for quite a while. So how long from when you were first kind of contacted to BronyCon? How long was that process?
I was there since February. The very beginning of February was my first bit, and I was doing 2 or 3 pieces a week. Depending on what the piece was. That t-shirt, the main t-shirt that we based all the staff shirts on, I did 4 or 5 different designs for that. Each team had their own specific design. And one that I didn't upload yet was the security one, because I kind of forced a mascot on them, the poor guys. I made them a bat pony, and, I was gonna, it was gonna be on the shirt with the sun and moon elements in the background, and it was going to look pretty boss to me. And they ended up going with the pocket design, which I thought looked more professional and projected out better, if I had to look at it from a public eye perspective. But I put that bat pony on the con poster, just as a big old hello, I did do this. And so I hope she sticks. That one, there was a couple other ones. There was an AV one. They decided they didn't want a pony mascot for their department, which was fine. I kind of did it on my own anyway. Let's see. There was a VIP one. That one didn't get used.
Sounds like you took quite the lead on just kind of going out there and really helping them out with that kind of stuff. That's really cool.
Oh, well, Eli was, he was a good leader. He kind of, we went back and forth a couple of times about it, and he said he could be a real bear, and I said, oh, no, you're probably not that bad. And it ended up, I got frustrated, and he was really good about talking about it, and we said, fine, let's just do it this way. It'll be fine. Just everybody, let's cooler heads prevail. And so we did, and, we got through it. So he was really good about everything. I did kind of take like a few things, the lead on a few things, because scheduling kind of got messed up for a few people, and a lot of the projects were starting to fall behind. So I just kind of grabbed a bunch of them and went for it.
Oh yeah, that's really good. I mean, it must be like you were talking about before when you were working on that video game. It's a completely different experience when you're an artist working kind of for someone, because obviously you have that clash of vision. You have that, or you might be doing something differently from them. And then you add in the fact that everybody has their own things to worry about, and there's a deadline coming up. It can be quite crazy, I imagine.
One thing we were really trying to go with, I think, or one thing that I thought we were really trying to go for was a style uniformity. Something that you don't see at a lot of conventions. You see a lot of different styles clashing all at once. We tried to put the styles where they would work the best. I kind of work better with broader expressions, brighter colors, things like that. So anything that had to stand out, anything that had to be, really eye-catching, I guess I kind of did Astral did a bunch of that stuff too. He's fantastic and a huge sweetheart. Let's see.
Yeah, we had him on,
he's
I
great.
think, before the podcast, and we talked to him a little bit about his work with BronyCon as well. I don't, off the top of my head, I'm sorry, but I forget who was. There were more than just you and Atril as the artists, was there
Yes.
not? How many artists did you have?
Let's see. It was me, Timpani, Atril, Citra, or just I always say his name wrong, poor guy. It says artist
just
backwards.
Yeah.
Let's
I've
see.
never figured that out.
Yes.
There you
And
go.
today's epiphany is. Let's see. Who else? Oh, Fall Feathers. Ryan Goodman. I think I really sincerely truly hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Let me see. Oh, Dishu. Petarep did the Tumblr ponies. And that was it. That was us.
So you
So-
had like a group of seven or eight people working on this.
Right. Tim did the BronyCons. So all the icons for the guests, the council, the staff, well, the design staff. Let's see, he did the poster for that. He did a lot of the signs that were up on the second level where the rooms were. The one where it looked like Stargate, that one we said was the favorite. And then there was like Blank Canvas's studio and, a few others. He did those too. So, I worked a lot with Tim, and we collaborated on one banner that didn't get used too, where he did the base sketch and I did the finals, the inks and colors.
Oh, that's a really interesting idea because even though these two guys happened to go down to BronyCon, we all ended up going out to Everfree Northwest just a couple months ago, and hearing your work that's being done there, seeing all the different art and all the different aspects that were created using fan artists, it seems like BronyCon was definitely a more it had a lot more art to it. It had a lot more of a focus that, not every panel, but like every guest had artists. All the badges had their own custom art. You had banners and you had different hall things and you had t-shirts and all this different stuff. It seems like BronyCon had quite the artistic focus to it.
Yeah, I love that about this convention. I love that it tries to be about that sort of thing. We actually reached out to a bunch of other folks too. Like I think there was an animator that like a little pixel animator that we reached out to. I don't remember his name, so forgive me for that. But we reached out to I think there was even a musician or something, an animator, the commercial for the convention. We like, I guess, to keep it about the art. And also, you're more willing to follow something if it looks good. I guess if there's like a sign that has, go this way, and it's just an arrow, well, that's kind of boring. We like to look at stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, here on the show, I think it's generally our attitude is that art, in a lot of ways, in this fandom, is not necessarily underappreciated, but taken for granted, I suppose, just because in this fandom it's so prevalent. Where it's almost like we've had so much amazing art that we've gotten used to it. But I think it's a really good idea to highlight it. I mean, that's a lot of the reason why we have this show in the first place, because we felt like art wasn't being highlighted properly. And in the same way, I'm really glad to see that BronyCon had that kind of focus, because they were saying, they put a huge priority on art, and they said, look, we know art's a big part of the fandom. We want to include it in the convention, because a convention in itself, it has a great artist alley and it has all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to organizing it too, it sounds really amazing that they had all this different kind of art to do with the convention planning itself.
Well, something has to draw you in. To me, it's always been about the art. The fact that it's, facilitated by a show that I watched when I was a girl, that's irrelevant to me. I like the different styles, and seeing how we can make the con look professional. while at the same time having fun. And that's kind of, we did really good at that. We got a lot of good comments, a lot of positive feedback about how the convention looked. And, the vendors hall, which I didn't get to see much outside of, that thing, it ran like a top, and looking around, everybody was happy to be there, and, it was all about what they were selling, their art, their particular style, their brand, and, it's all about marketing, I guess, in the end. But
that was easily the main attraction of the con, was the artist alley for me.
Yeah, I mean, they had 140 different artists.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just in that
That's a
hall,
lot.
140 different vendors. Now, I was sharing a table with Tim, so, for our table, it was like a 2-for-1. But, I really admired a lot of the people who do that. Now, I don't know, I guess maybe it's a little bit of self-consciousness, but I couldn't imagine going from place to place trying to make a living doing that. But for a one-off, I mean, it was a really good effort for me. And it was well received by everybody, so, I mean, I don't have a bad thing to say.
So you had a good experience with the vendor hall? You had a good time there?
Yeah. And I would certainly do it again. I mean, it was so close to me. It would be a travesty if I did all this work and didn't even go to the convention. I think that, just sitting there and meeting everybody and networking a bit and getting my name out there, because I'm a relative unknown within the fandom. Before BronyCon, nobody knew me as a pony artist anyway. They knew me as a cartoonist for my work on that and private commissions and things like that. Just things that I do for my friends and stuff like that, but they didn't know me for being in the fandom at all. So it was really good. It was a good, enriching experience for me.
I think you're pretty well known now. Like, I now, now that I saw you at BronyCon and saw your work there, have now come to, very, your work's very recognizable, especially your style. I think it was successful.
It was hard for me to try and draw pony style after drawing, Disney style and Warner Brothers, and then my own, kind of mishmash, my style, for so long. And I still kind of botch it and do, I do like Astral does and give them the cheek on the one side, even though their faces are pretty much perfectly round on,
Yeah.
I like doing that. I think that gives them a little personality, but, or a little extra personality. And it makes it fun for me. Anyway, I like round shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're all for that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So now at BronyCon, I know Bern and I saw your table and you're selling a whole bunch of different stuff. You had plushies of
Kugari.
Kugari, and you had some sketches, I think, and
Oh yeah, I was doing commissions. I had prints.
you had the exclusive sketches.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do those prior to BronyCon, or were you also doing them at BronyCon?
I did those prior to the con. I think I maybe took one night, each night before 1 week each night before the con. I would draw a couple. So, I did 2 or 3 every night.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for sure, that Apple Bloom one would have gone, considering she was, the voice actress was there, but she didn't. So I took it over, or Tim took it over for me and had Michelle sign it for me. That was really cool.
Oh, that's cute.
Nice.
So now I have that in my portfolio.
That's cool.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, the DJ one went first, and the others kind of hung around for a while. Slowly they trickled out. The Fluttershy one was the very last one to sell, which I thought was.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm very confused by this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really
that's
cute.
kind of
It's because all the people who wanted to buy it were so shy that they just didn't want to.
I know. I said, you bronies confuse me.
That's got to be it. Yeah.
I said, you
Exactly.
bronies confuse me so much.
I really like the Dash one. What is she? She's a Shadow Bolt.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Shadow
Shadow.
Bolt Dash.
That one and the Gary one. I remember seeing the Gary one, and I really wanted it.
But again, you see the blue style candle, and you know that beginning of that sequence, man. That was such a surprise to see, and I didn't think they were going to do it, and then they ended up doing it, and I was glad they did because it explained the story a bit. So, you know, because it stopped a lot of people from going, she kidnapped all those kids. What?
I know people still say that.
Yeah, people still said it, but I know talking to them about it, there was definitely like from the animatic they got feedback, and that was one of the reasons why they put that in. And Spirito wanted to also test out her own animation skills too. I think she did pretty well.
Oh my gosh, she did awesome.
No matter how much she wants to go back and go, oh, it's awful, as all artists,
good.
do.
I don't listen to that. Whenever anybody tells me they have to go back and fix stuff, I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Stop.
No.
Don't touch it. It's awesome the way it is.
Yeah, you don't get the raw artistic style and whatever from it if you go back and you try to make it perfect. You got to get it out the first time.
Oh, and going back to what we were talking about, like some of the stuff that I did for BronyCon, I designed the handicapped badge, the badge that they gave to people with disabilities so that they could carry around their equipment, or they could have their dog there, or whatever it was. And there was a couple, a mother and a daughter, and the mother came over and asked me if I designed that. And the daughter thanked me, A, for designing it, and B, asked me to sign it. I was signing stuff like a pro. I was like, that was such a sweet thing. That was like one of the most awesome things that happened to me there. And another girl who had her helper dog, the dog's name was Magic. And she was telling me all about, you know, why she comes to BronyCon. And I'm just like, you know, being the artist for this was a really cool thing. Just for some of the experiences I got, or for some of the experiences that I had while I was sitting at the table, you know, just talking to people as they were going by. They just had such good stories to tell.
That's great. Do you have any stories of your own from BronyCon?
Stories of my own. I wanted to go and get a drawing from Andy Price, but I couldn't because I was too slow. And I did get my Twilight card though, so I'm very happy about that. Interplay is awesome, and I like all their stuff. And let's see, a lot of my friends were there selling in the same aisle. I got to see them like 2 or 3 times a day as I wandered, but I didn't really get to leave the table too much, so I was doing on-the-spot commissions too. And you know, nobody really asked me to draw anything unusual. Oh, that's a lie. I got one commission for, you know, the one comic where Rainbow Dash is wearing a mascot costume, or is it Pinkie Pie who's wearing a mascot costume of herself, and it looks kind of derpy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from the comic.
Yes. Somebody asked me to draw Deadpool wearing a Pinkie Pie version of that. And I wish that I had gotten a scan of it because it was hysterical.
Awesome.
That seems like such an oddly specific thing to go to a con to get.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, this is what I would like. It's kind of weird, but I was like, well, it's going to take a lot to throw me into weird at the PonyCon, so come on.
That's true.
You know? And he said, well, Deadpool wearing this mascot costume. And I said, okay, what?
No, I was expecting weird.
Yeah, I was
expecting I mean, come on.
Straight off the chart, buddy. So I took it, and I was like, okay, I'm glad I did this, because this was actually very funny. I hope he uploads it one day. I hope he scans it in and uploads it one day, because I forgot to take a picture of it so that I could keep it, or put it up myself, because it was pretty awesome, and I was damn proud of it.
Well, to anyone listening, if you have either commissioned that piece or know someone who's commissioned that piece, get them to put it up somewhere because it sounds pretty awesome.
Contact us.
Really
it
cool.
was it was an adorable piece. I mean, it was like a chibi Deadpool wearing this goofy
That sounds fantastic.
Pinkie Pie outfit. And that was the most memorable commission from the con. I actually do have a few digital ones to do, and those are going to be up soon. They're hopefully I can hold up to my, quality.
I saw the Dusty Cat one you did recently.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Yes.
Really good.
He reached out to me at the con too. He was really cool. I never, met, I guess, I've never met him before, but apparently I think I knew him from somewhere else because I was like, "Hey, I know you," and it was just really cool to, I guess meet someone who's, I guess, famous.
Yeah.
Horse famous
on our network.
So many horse points.
And then you guys, I was like, I recognize as soon as I saw you, Burned. I said, I know your I know your OC. I know him. I've seen him before. And then when you said Cutie Art Crusaders, I'm like, I listen to you guys. It's awesome.
I know your mess of a face.
I was so excited when you were like, "Oh, I know your show." I was like, "Yee!"
It's the glorious mane, right?
It is,
Burns-
and
Burns
the
mane.
chin fuzz.
Yes.
The beautiful blue mane and chin fuzz.
No one believes us, but he looks exactly like his OC.
Yeah, it's true.
I'll vouch for it.
It's because he's incredibly self-centered. I mean, what?
Because I'm beautiful.
It's because he had the best inspiration. He just needed to look in a mirror.
There we go. See, I
Oh.
like that. That's much better.
That's how I work. I can only insult you so much before I have to say something nice too because I feel bad.
Aw, okay, you're still very nice. Aw.
So
burned.
doing on the spot
burned.
commissions at the at BronyCon must have been pretty interesting because you kind of get to see a bunch of people's like requests and stuff, right?
Well, a lot of people were asking for their OCs, which I don't have a problem with. Somebody, I guess told me that other people there had problems with OCs. They only wanted to draw canon. And
Huh.
Really?
yeah, and I didn't understand that. I
Yes.
mean, part of the reason why BronyCon exists is fandom, and
Yeah, that's
OCs are a part of that naturally. So, it was a lot of OCs and nothing odd. Like I didn't see any oddball OCs. Like, sometimes you say, like, "Oh, another red alicorn, fantastic."
There was actually a dude I was talking with in line was waiting to get a sketch from a Trill, and he had a pretty cool OC. It was well, I say cool, but it was interesting. He had a plant OC that was like
yeah.
plant fauna thing with like leaves, and it was
It's
cool actually. Like a Trill made awesome work out of it, and he had another commission that he just got by an artist I forget that was also like really well done. I don't know, but even though it was insanely interesting, it was still like a really cool OC.
It seems really weird to me that people would be against OC. I mean, I just thinking about it, if I were to go to a con and pick up a commission, I did a couple at Everfree Northwest, but like if I was going to pick up a commission, like my first go-to would be my OC. Like
Yeah.
that just seems I mean, I wouldn't have been so influenced by my OC if it wasn't for this show. Like I wouldn't have so much stuff in my OC, and I probably would have done something like canon. But it makes sense to me that people want to do that. If they get attached to the character that they make, of course they would want to associate it with themselves. Anyone can get a picture of Rainbow Dash made by an artist that they consider good, but not everyone can get you by this artist. This artist made you in a way.
It makes
And
it
there's also a
personal,
giant plane. Sorry, there's a giant plane going on. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that.
It makes it really personal. I really enjoy my OC. At first,
Yeah.
it was just a face for the show.
Yeah.
So the first con I went to, I got a lot of canon stuff, like Rainbow Dash doing a duck face from John Ozako and stuff.
And me doing a
like
duck
that.
face from John Ozako.
Yeah, and then I got you guys because again we're kind of a face for the show, and I got my very first commission of my OC at the first Everfree Northwest by an artist named Fluffy Turtle, and then once I finally had something that was personal, that was like mine and supposed to be of the representation of me, I don't know, that was just really special. And then from then on, it was just like commissions of my OC.
Yeah, it
everywhere.
really does change. It was a weird experience because I think we all, for the most part, I'm not sure about you, Atmos Park, because you had your OC like long before the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
But I know at least for the majority of us, when we had our OCs, a lot of it being used, or some of them, I mean, Flutterguy, I think yours was like created right before the podcast started.
Mine was created for someone's birthday actually.
Yeah, and then
but
we all
was
just
like,
decided.
It literally was like 2 weeks before we started the podcast or something.
And
like
then
that,
when we
so.
started the podcast, we decided that we were like, well, I guess we should put some faces up on here. And so that was the motivation behind using our OCs. Mine wasn't even supposed to be an OC of me. It was supposed to just be a character I made, but I had to use something. So, but it's funny how the show has evolved over the last year or so to a point where I all of us are so intertwined with these OCs.
Yeah,
Very
like
much so.
canon things are nice and getting them at conventions and stuff, but
Oh yeah.
like when you have something that's yours and that you can and like that is physically like something that is yours and personal to you, and you can take that back from a con, it makes it much more special than just getting something that's canon.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like getting an original print of something, because it's unique.
Yeah.
It's got like I just looked
it's
up.
uniquely you is like the key term.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked up at my kind of wall of posters and stuff, and it's all like canon stuff, which is great, except for that Sibsy thing. But it's the stuff that I consider really special is the things like the cosmic unicorn painting I got. That's that's the original piece, so it's the originality, and I mean, can you get more original than original characters? I mean, it's in the name, right?
Yep.
Speaking of awesome sketches of OCs, thank you again for that birthday gift. I want to thank you.
Aww, I couldn't help
like,
myself.
it was you and I eating cookies. It was adorable.
Yes, that's a
Mhm,
perfect
yeah.
way to spend a birthday, don't you think?
Yeah.
Post the picture. I can't find it.
Aw,
Oh, it's in my minus. Here you go.
it's just a little sketchy on some line paper from work.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
he showed it last week when we were talking about BronyCon. It was yeah, there it is. There you
Mhm.
go. Super cute. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you want to tell the cookie story again quickly, Bern? Did we talk about that last
We
week?
did talk
I don't
about
remember.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mahauer and myself had no idea what was happening until like after he bought the cookies. But
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because that was when he woke you up and was like, "We're
Yeah.
going to Subway."
What ended up happening was I read Spirit's post on her blog about how you really like cookies, and she wanted someone to say hi for her. So I read that at like 2 a.m. when I was going to bed before BronyCon, and was like, you know what, I'll bring you some cookies. So we went to Subway, or I woke them up and I was like, remind me to go to Subway in the morning, and they're like, what? Why?
Bern, you're weird. Stop.
We go to Subway before the con, and I was like, I will buy 12 cookies, please.
And guess what?
Yeah.
I ate them all. I shared.
Yeah.
I was good. I shared.
Some
It was
of them.
funny because we were standing in line for the con to get in the vendor hall because they weren't letting people in yet, and I just had like these big bags of cookies. I'm like, I have so many. It's like people were looking at them like, you want one?
They were like, let's mug this guy and take his cookies.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just bring cookies to a hall of people who would eat cookies and just stand there.
I expect to not get mugged.
You're
like,
gonna
yeah.
get mugged.
Yeah, they're going to say something. It's going to be terrible. Run!
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
But I thank you, and I thank her for even mentioning it. And it was just that was another one of the most awesome experiences there. Just people dropping by and giving me cookies. I love that.
Mhm.
You're quite welcome.
People know the way to my heart.
Cons are awesome. I mean, we've shown it firsthand, and we've had plenty of people give their own firsthand experience. If you have the opportunity to head out to a convention, it's a really cool experience. And especially if you can use that convention to either go with friends or meet up with friends or things like that. I can't speak enough to how much cons can really give you great memories. And I think by now everyone who's listening to this should know that, whether or not they can go or not. You should definitely try. That's for sure.
I know next year I might try to, socialize a little more. I did so much homework and I had so many commissions to draw that I didn't have a lot of time to hang out. And I think I've learned a lesson.
Yeah, like the first day or the last day, you should make like a commission cutoff or something, and then save it for people maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do
some wandering of the halls.
They have day passes to BronyCon.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
It was
It's hard to kind of cut off a day. It's easy to say like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna not do any art on the Friday and then do Saturday and Sunday. But it's kind of weird when there's people that only come for the Friday or something.
Yeah, and I'm horrible at telling people no.
Right.
They come up, they're like, "Are you still open?" I'm like, "I got like 100 to do, but what do you need?"
Yeah. So I wanted to bring up two things. One was from the con. You were selling buttons, and one was a rainbow dash with a hashtag swag on it.
Hashtag
And
swag.
It is absolutely amazing.
Hashtag pony.
Easily my favorite button from the con.
Yeah, it's
I couldn't think of any designs, and I'm like, well, it's all about swag, right?
Exactly, it was good.
I would totally have
funny.
got one of those.
Of course.
That was my only button to sell out. The other
really?
ones, they were there, but, you know.
It was so, like, unique and original because Rainbow Dash has this really long neck, just like... Hashtag swag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have a picture of it, or am I just going to sit here imagining?
That's right,
Yeah,
you can guess.
you'll have to imagine.
You can
I'll
guess.
make
It's
Brony put up
actually...
a picture of it.
I
because he
got
has
it.
one.
It's right here.
Okay, cool.
It-
I'm sorry, I didn't go to BronyCon. I'm not cool.
Yeah, me too.
There we go. Cool.
yeah, oh yeah,
That's
there it is.
cool. I want one.
Yeah.
I like the one with just the shot of the pony's butt.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
What's your talent?
Yeah, the What's Your Talent one was good. But I was actually really surprised that you were selling them for what, 75 cents?
Yeah, 75 cents.
Really?
You could easily make $1 per for that swag button.
Yeah, that one flew out of there. And
I wasn't about to tell you when you said 75 cents. I was like, oh, here.
you're like, here's
I
75
think I gave you
cents.
$1 anyway,
Yeah,
but still.
you did. You were like, what, 75 cents? Huh?
No.
No.
You're going to take my money.
Shut up and take my money.
It was too swaglicious that deserved an extra quarter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Swagalicious.
And that's another thing, I think. I don't know how to, I think as a first timer, people don't know how to price themselves. You either price yourself out or you don't price yourself, high enough. So you kind of feel like, why is my neighbor selling out of the same thing that I have? I don't understand. But, I kind of had that feeling with Tim. He was awesome about it. I was ragging him the whole weekend. He would go get like 3 prints made of he had a Luna 3D print that everybody was gaga over, and he only had like 12 pair of the 3D glasses. So he sells out of all this print after showing up late, and I said, where you going, bud? And he said, I gotta go get more prints. So he goes to get more prints, he comes back, he sells out of those. I'm like, just get out. Just get out.
Just go, leave.
I'm sitting here dying. But the selling wasn't that bad.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
That piece that he had was really cool. It was like 3D with the red and blue glasses. And,
yeah, vintage.
Someone told me about it, and I didn't get to see it because when I walked by, it was gone.
Yeah. And then he had a spike one. There was this poor guy who kept coming and kept coming and kept coming by and kept coming by again and again. Does he have any more spike prints? I said, he just went to go get some more. Just come back in a little bit. He'd come back. They'd be all gone. This poor guy, finally he gets one on Sunday. And he was so happy to just get this print from Tim, which was really awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And he told me I had him take a couple of pieces because I couldn't get to see the guests. I had a piece for M.A. Larson, and I had another piece for Amy Keating Rogers, which was just a printout of announcement art for both of them. I didn't do announcement art for M.A. Larson, but he was talking on Twitter about, or his icon was like a blue crab and his head, which was hysterical. So I drew his Pony OC wearing a crab suit, and it was pretty funny. That will be posted at some point. I didn't post it up in my DeviantArt, which I
If
regret.
you can get it to me, I'll put it on the screen for
I
everyone.
immediately regret doing that. I have it in my stupid Twitter account. It's in my
You can get it after we're done.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, Tim, he was an awesome table mate, even though he sold out of everything, and left me to die a few times. But if not for him, I would have starved to death on Friday, because I couldn't get up to go get anything to eat, and I thought I'd have a chance to go to like the the lounge or something, which was really ironic because the food place was like diagonal from me, but
Yeah, it was.
They were letting
I think-
or security would watch your table if you needed, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. I just feel weird asking people to do things for me. So,
yeah.
I was there and I didn't want to inconvenience anybody else. And it was really busy. I didn't want to miss any sales just in case I didn't do well. I was really thinking I was going to go into this like losing money. And everybody, like I said, really supportive.
There's one more thing that I wanted to bring up, which is this piece, which is called "Friendship is Serenity," because I'm a huge Firefly fan.
Oh, of course of course this is it. Of course it's the last thing you want to bring up.
Yes, of course it is. Why not?
It's all good. I like talking about that one.
This crossover is just so fantastic.
Now, everybody asked me, "Where's Book? Where's River? Where's Simon?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I needed a main 6. That's the whole point. I needed to pick 6. So I picked what I knew as the main 6. The others came later, which they can be background ponies later. And that'll probably be the next piece I'll do, Friendship is Serenity 2, and,
Yeah.
you know.
You have to
Yeah.
make another version, because I have a version of a playmat that's just the main 6 that someone got me as a gift. And it's just the main 6 ponies, and then I printed one myself and photoshopped Friendship is Magic the Gathering on the top of it, with the main 6, Luna, Celestia, Derpy, the CMC, and Spike.
Nice.
So it's like there has to be a 2.0 for the
Yeah.
rest of the game.
That's
Yeah.
right. So I will make another version, or not another version, a sequel version, a 2.0 to this with River and Simon and Book and, gosh, everybody else. I
Yeah.
think.
I'll hold you to that. We'll keep bugging you.
Yeah,
That'll be
everybody's gonna be like,
awesome.
"Is
Yes.
that out yet? Is it out yet?" I'll be back on the show in a
Hey.
year and tell you about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
please.
exactly. Well, I know Flutter Guy, whenever we're talking about trips to see each other, every single time he's like, all right, I'm going to have to show you Firefly this time. And then we forget every single time. When I was up
He
there,
still has not
when I was
seen
down
it.
in Boston, we completely forgot about it and instead watched How to Train Your Dragon, which is great. When we were out at Everfree Northwest, we didn't have the time to do it. Or we probably had the time to do it. You
We
just
probably
forgot
did.
again.
Yeah, we forgot again.
So
Well,
this
if
time you might have to.
you like Firefly, don't watch Serenity. It makes me sad.
Yeah, Serenity makes everyone sad.
Well, those who haven't seen
It's the
Firefly.
only thing I've seen.
But Firefly
I've
is awesome, and I recommend it
Yeah.
highly. Netflix
never
it.
seen it.
It's on
How many
Netflix.
episodes was it again, Ted?
Can't get Netflix in my country.
13 episodes?
13.
13 episodes.
Yeah.
YouTube, I think, probably has all the episodes by now.
That's definitely not like when I first heard of that, because he's been bugging me about it. He's like, "You should watch it, you should watch it," and then I was like, "I don't really want to get into like a huge series," and he's like, "It's 13 episodes," and I went, "Oh well, that's definitely manageable."
Manageable.
It's
It
most
should be
definitely
more.
manageable.
It should be more.
It
See, but
should
then,
have been.
Then it's so much easier to get new fans into the show because then you tell them it's only 13 episodes. Like that to me, as soon as I heard that, I was like, "Well, I could definitely pick that up at some point."
And there
But
was
it's Firefly.
there was an awesome bit. Like there's a lot of shows now that go, we're going to start a petition to raise awareness against the unfair cancellation of Firefly and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's
Don't worry,
everywhere.
we'll get that show back on the air. Don't worry.
I've done
just-
a lot of stuff.
I'm waiting for a cameo in MLP of something to do with Firefly.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, man.
that'll be awesome. They're free to use my design.
I'm waiting for a cameo of Gak Pony.
Oh, burned. Okay, I'm going to
On
use
that
that to
note.
transition out of this. Forget that. Okay. So we are running up on time here, so we're going to have to end this interview. Thank you very much for coming on, Trish. It was great to have you on, talk about all your BronyCon experiences and things like that.
Yes, thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
This was
Okay,
fantastic.
so if people want to find you, where can they find you? Yeah, I know that we have your DeviantArt at the very least.
Yes, my DeviantArt is Nanook123 at DeviantArt. Twitter is Nanook1234. I post some random sketches and things there sometimes. Facebook is Trish Forstner. I have a website, animatedvisions.com. It's not very deep right now. I just, started revamping it. Let's see, what else? I have FA. I post there a lot. Nanook123 as well. And TLK Fan Art Archive, which is hideously old and unupdated, but I still go there sometimes just to look.
All right.
And I get sad when I go there.
Oh,
Remember things.
but it exists.
But
it exists.
Nanook123 there too. So
Okay. And then before we sign off, is there any kind of new projects you're going to be working on, or anything you'd like to plug before we go?
no, not at the moment. I mean, I'll be doing just random stuff, and probably in November, December is just when I do my $5 sketch commissions for charity. So if people
Cool.
want to keep
So
an
be
eye
sure to
out
check
for
that
that, I post it everywhere when I'm doing them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So go watch her on those sites if you're interested.
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Speaking of plugs, take it Atmos
You doing plugs? Yep.
plugs.
I don't see how loud you can go. How high can you go?
Go.
Okay. So we have a DeviantArt page, which is cuteartcrusaders.deviantart.com. Our email address is cuteartcrusaders@gmail.com. Just please put what you're sending us in the subject line so that Gmail filters it for us and we can find it easy.
we have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Cutie Art Crusaders. You can go there, give us a like, and we'll post on the day of our streams. And we also have a Twitter, which is @Cutie Art Crusade, and we'll do likewise. And that'll be the most up-to-the-minute information. Also, if we're going to cons like in the future, we'll post stuff to Twitter.
We just hit 500 followers.
Yay!
Just cool.
Thank you, guys.
That was way too well coordinated.
We're usually not this organized. No,
exactly.
we also have a YouTube page.
Get your filthy hooves off of my part. We also have a YouTube page
I just
where
said
you can go
that.
to see a bunch of extra stuff. Okay, here's the deal. So I have work all this weekend, which is the reason why Bernd is editing. Thank you very much, Bernd.
Hi.
Hi, Bernd. But then I'm going to be away for like the rest of this week up until Friday, which I can record next week. But it means that I don't have a lot of time to do any of the extra stuff. But like I was doing the outtakes right before we recorded this podcast. I'm probably going to be doing more of those. So if it's not out already, and there should be outtakes out already if I'm doing my job correctly. There should be outtakes on our channel, which is a huge thing because we've been planning that for a long time. But if they aren't out, then they will be out soon. So definitely go check out our YouTube, youtube.com/Cutie Art Crusaders. I know we're planning some other stuff. I'm still doing my rants on there, and Bernd is probably going to do some stuff on there
I have
too.
big plans. I just need the time.
You just need to
Yeah.
do them.
Works is more important.
We'll be completely free this weekend, and we'll be editing and posting interviews from BronyCon.
Sweet.
So
Yeah, we got those. We got those too. So we got art interviews from BronyCon on our YouTube page. So definitely go check that out. YouTube.com/Cutie Art Crusaders. Give us
I'll
some
sit here
love
and
there.
look pretty, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
we'll just put a picture of you up on the YouTube page.
All right. Well, that's everything for this week. Thank you guys for watching, whether or not you're on YouTube or the live stream. We love you all the same. My name is Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Brendo1.
I'm ThoughtGuy317.
And I am Atmos Park.
And I'm Trish.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
And we'll see you guys next week, which will be our episode on books.
Yay!
Completely forgot until now.
Maybe.
Maybe, unless we have another guest.
Oh, for the love of, can we just do books, please, Bernd?
Nope.
Burks.
Fine,
Ermagerd.
it might
Guest,
be.
Burks.
guests with books.
So it might be Celeb Yoshi, but that's what do you want to say? Confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
She may be busy.
All right.
But she said she'd like to. So we'll see.
Can
See you guys
she
next week.
can she
Burks.
bring a book?
Yes.
She must be
Awesome.
a book.
Bye,
Leaving.
guys.
Bye.
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 Bye.